It's that time of the year again. It's that time. Stress is building, sleepless nights, some of the hardest weeks some people may go through in their whole life. Finals week. I'm talking about finals week. Now let's hear all about it. Let's get straight into the episode.
Let's get straight into the episode, guys.
Finals week it's a rough week for a lot of people. A lot of stressfulness going around. Some people can't handle it, they can't handle that kind of stress. Thankfully for me, I always state this, that finals week is not that hard for me. Just a lot of visual stuff, video, a lot of me talking to the camera. Like this kind of stuff, this is like what I have for finals. I had a Latin class. It was like Latin music. It's an elective. I did it yesterday. And it was basically me having to make a 5-minute podcast about everything I've learned and just kind of summarize everything. So that's not that hard. And then it's like graphic designs. So making a brochure, it's very tedious. I'm sitting down for a long time. I've been kind of lacking on that. It's due the 12th, so Tuesday. That's like really the last assignment I have. There's a dog barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's literally the last assignment I have is that brochure to do. And then I have like a final exam for one of my classes, but I'm not here having any of these stressful classes. A lot of people, engineering, those kind of classes, they have 3 questions, right? Their final exam's like 3 questions, but it takes like 3 hours to do. That is sickening. Sickening to the gills. Let me tell you something. All right. If you had to make me do that kind of stuff, I am just not going to show up. Calling it a day. Calling it a day. For y'all that have followed some certain things I've done, the Teach Me series, yada, yada, that kind of stuff, you've seen it. I don't know what I'm doing. I may get it right every now and then. Do I know what I'm doing? No. No. But, yeah, finals week. I've been talking to some people. There's something that certain schools have a thing called Hell Week for finals. And it's the week before finals week. And it's basically where they don't sleep. They stay up and they just study in the library like almost 24/7. They're just there studying up 11 hours a day. 11 hours a day just studying that bad boy up. These are like the engineering majors, aerospace, all that kind of like real high-tech stuff. That's what they're doing. That's what they're up doing. Getting wild while I'm asleep. Someone texted me. They're like, hey, like they tried calling me and stuff. They're like, oh, I just want to see what y'all are doing over there at UT San Antonio because we're over here at Hell Week. I'm like, man, Hell Week? I'm asleep. I'm dreaming about sheep jumping over my head. I'm dreaming about fishing because I want to go fishing. Oh, I'm so excited. I want to go fishing. You ask me what I want to do, I want to go fishing. That's what I want to do. I want to hit the coast. My mind's already hitting summer. That Becky G. I listen to a lot of Becky G right now. Been hitting that Becky G. Mommy. That's the kind of wave I've been on. Watching people catch sharks on YouTube. I'd be doing like homework, working on some stuff, watching people go shark fishing and stuff. Because that vibe is hitting me right now. Hitting that coast. I'm going to deep sea fishing in June. I'm so excited. Can't stop thinking about the excitement that's brewing in me. But let's talk about finals, right? That's what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about some finals. I remember, one of the hardest finals I ever had was my French final. Man, my French final. Things got real. One of my biggest weaknesses ever in college was my lack of wanting to go to classes, especially for a little while, my freshman and sophomore year of college. When I had like actual classes where they would call me out and I'd have to like presentate stuff like that, I wouldn't go. That's me being real with you. I wouldn't go. I would be nervous. I don't know what happened. I was so extroverted in the end of high school, senior year. And then when I got into college, when it came to classes, I didn't have the ability to talk to people again. It was like I was nervous again for the first 2 years. I don't know what it was. So every time I knew a class was going to make me do that, I just wouldn't show up. I would take the minus points. I'd take the minus points and it would hurt me bad. French class hurt me bad. It would hurt me bad because I knew some French. All right. I'm not a rookie to French, to learning French. I know some of it, but I don't know like how to put a whole sentence together over and over and make statements about it and just speak it fluently like that to people. And this was elementary French. It wasn't beginning French. It was elementary French. So we would have to go in. And I remember at some point, it was just like everything you said, any answer you gave was in French. You weren't speaking any English when you're talking to the professor, and there was no English coming out of your mouth. So there would be certain times. I think one of the weirdest things ever, she was like asking a question, and it was like 5 of us showed up. Why did I show up that day? I don't know. But there was only like 5 of us in the class. And she called on me because the question was, what time do you go to sleep? And it was just like really easy, regular, open ended questions where you could just say whatever time you go to sleep. I didn't know the times like that. So I said, I went to sleep at 5 o'clock in French, of course. I said 5 o'clock. And she was like, she repeated it to me and she was like, that's really early. And I was like, yeah, that's how it'll be. 5 o'clock. I'm in bed. Can't do anything about that. Then we had the final. The final was me basically having a 10-minute conversation in French with another guy right in front of her. That's what it was. That was the final. Well, that was the first half of the final. The second half of the final was like a whole 2-paper thing where we were just like answering all these questions about. I barely passed. I got a 70. She may have bumped my grade a little bit, but yeah, that was a rough class for me. Because it was one of those where you had to be there. You have to learn the material. And I had to pay $200 for the book. Here's another thing. You're going to get me going on this. We're supposed to be talking about finals, but y'all are getting me fired up. You pay thousands of dollars, like $1,000 to take this French class, right? It's like $1,000. It's an expensive class. And then they make you pay another $200 for a book. And get this, the book has the actual lessons on it, and you could and that's like the only way you could do the work. So if I don't have this book, I actually can't do any of the assignments physically. I'm not talking about like I'm not going to know what I'm doing. I'm saying the actual assignments to do them, the actual things are in the book. Like the book has the assignments in them. So you can't do anything if you don't have the book. And I didn't know this. For the first like 3 weeks of class, I thought, oh, we're just not getting assignments like that. It's just like the stuff we're doing in class. And then she started talking about the book. Are you hearing this? She was like, yeah, we've had like 25 assignments in the book, and my jaw dropped. And I was like, well, here I am. So the whole semester was me basically fighting from behind, having a big fat 0 in that class, to all the way to where I finished with a C, but I came back from nothing. All right, your boy came back from nothing, way behind. Went from 0 to hero. That's what happened. And no one knew that. No one knew that story that I was building during that time period. So that final meant a lot. There's been certain finals where it actually meant something. Another final that actually meant something is going to be this brochure that I have to work on. And I've been delaying it. I've been delaying it because it's not a priority in my mind, but I need to realize at the end of the day, I need to get it done. But here's the thing. I have a lot of wiggle room on this. I need a 20. I need a 20 to get a C in this, but I don't want a C. I want a B. So I have to get like a 30-ish. I have to get like a 35. But at the end of the day, I want to pass it, right? That's what this is. No one's ever like, oh, I want to get a 30 on this. I want to pass this thing. So I have to go in there Thursday. I'm going to go in, which is when this is going to come out. I'm going to work on it for a few hours, and then I'm going to work on it Monday for a few hours, and I'm turning it in Tuesday. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to try to at least get a C on this. If I get a C on this, if I get a 70 on this final, I will finish with like an 89 in the class. And that's something I can't bargain with right there. That's what we're here for, right? That's what we're here for. On one of the other classes, my Latin class, the music one, actually was on the verge of being down on that one because there was one research paper in that class. There was one research paper, and I forgot the due date because it was due on a Monday. It was due on a Monday. I forgot that. I didn't know that. And this was during spring break. During spring break, it was due on Monday. And it was Thursday, and I remembered in my head, when is that research paper due? And I checked, and it was due on a Thursday. I got a 0 on that research paper, which was 20% of our grade, which meant the highest grade I could get is a 80 overall in the whole class. But I didn't exactly have all 100 in that class, so you got to subtract that. But guess what? 2 weeks ago, she emailed me. She was like, hey, I noticed that you didn't do your research paper and got a 0. Is there a reason for that? She was like basically kind of like saying, do the research paper, right? So I was like, whoa. She was like, is there a reason? Was there like a mistake or something that it didn't submit? And I was like, yeah, that was a mistake. I forgot to submit it. So I did it real quick, yada, yada. Because I already did the research paper. I just forgot to turn it in. And I turned it in. and she gave me like a 80 on it, right? So now I have like a 90 something in the class and nothing matters in that class anymore, but I still want to finish with a higher grade. And then we have another one, which I have the final in. So yeah, that brochure is really what I had to get done. That's all I really have to get done. And then my semester's over and we just get ready. We get to work. Let's just start working on what we have after that. Another finals. I remember there was some in high school that I had to work on a little bit, but I always had some wiggle room in high school. I had pretty high grades in high school a lot of times. I remember actually one time when we started working on the STAR test, we had a third grade STAR test. Third grade STAR test. I finished that test so early. I would always finish early because you had like 4 hours to do these tests. I finished at like 2 hours. I finished like 2 hours and 15 minutes. People said always go over again. I'm not going over that thing again. All right. I sat at each question and I read it. If I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. I know what one of the most bad bleep moments I ever had was sixth grade for the semester exam for the second semester. We had 4 hours to do a test. And you want to know something? I finished that bad boy in 14 minutes. 80 questions. Finished it in 14 minutes for my STEM class, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I finished it in 14 minutes. I got an 85. I got an 85 on that bad boy. People don't know that. People don't know that. How are you going to know that I was that good at STEM? I was the man, but it didn't love me at the end of the day. I didn't love STEM. Maybe I would have made more money. Who knows? I still dabble in the world every now and then. I dabble up in that thing every now and then. But yeah, this was third grade. Sorry. Back to the original story. I finished in like 2 hours, right? It was like a pre-STAR test. It was probably the English one or something. We would take pre-STAR tests before. And I remember I was so bored. I was so bored. A lot of times I would have two pencils and I'd pretend they were wrestling each other. That was like my entertainment for the whole time we were waiting. But this time I was feeling a little silly with it. And what I did was I decided, because there's the little bubbles at the bottom, not the bubbles, so like just like the little things that you scan for the actual scanner, like just the little stuff at the bottom, little black little squares. Well, I lined all them up with my pencil and turned in my test. Everyone turned them in after, and the next day she was like, "So, one of y'all decided to be real funny and line up all of the scanner scanner squares, whatever they're called. Well, you got a 0 because now it couldn't scan. I didn't know that. Every single one of those at the bottom has its own different like design to where you know which one it is. And I got a 0 because of that, because it couldn't scan. It couldn't scan my sheet. So I got a 0. Too bad. It didn't really count. That one didn't count. But did I ever fail one? Let me think. Did I ever fail a test before, like a STAR test or anything? I don't think I'm trying to think. Did I fail my science 7th grade STAR test? I think I might have. 7th grade science, I think I might have. Let me tell you something. Every single time there was ever like a party, because sometimes they would be like, "Hey, there's gonna be the kids that do well on this test or do well on this. They're gonna be able to have a pizza party next door at the next classroom over, but the rest of us are just gonna be sitting in here doing an assignment." Like when they do like the little split, they're gonna have a pizza party, watch a movie next door. Let me tell you something. Almost every single time, I didn't make it to that party. I didn't make it. I don't know what it was. I couldn't push through. The pressure was too much for me at the time. The pressure that used to get to me a lot when I was little, and I was very ashamed of that. I was very ashamed of that, and I'm embarrassed, but I could tell the truth now because I feel like I'm in a place where I can tell the truth about that. Because it's hard. There's a lot of things where the pressure's just there, and it hurts us bad because we feel like we just couldn't do it. So I'm gonna be real with y'all right now because I don't think I've ever told anyone this before. When I was younger, the pressure really got to me. In high school and in middle school, there was a lot of situations where there was a very big situation I was brought up to, and I just hid from it because I was scared. I was generally scared, or I would want it to be someone. I want someone else to have the moment, not me, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. It was too much for me. My freshman year of high school, I was going to be a part of the varsity baseball team. Everyone already knew that, like it was going to happen. And we had pre-games in the fall. I would be so nervous that I would tell the coach. The coach would be one of the dads coaching the team. I would tell him that, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it to this tournament game because, well, we had league games, so we had like 2 games on Tuesday, and then like a game on Thursday, or 2 games on Thursday and 1 game on Tuesday, and it would be like every Tuesday, Thursday of the week we played. But I had basketball practice every day of the week. But I got out of basketball practice at 6. There was always a game. We would always have a baseball game at 6 and 7:30, and he knew that. But varsity practiced right after us at 6, from 6 to 8. We practiced from 4 to 6. So I would always tell him, "Hey, varsity wants me to practice with them," and he'd be like, "All right, good luck." So I would not go to the tournament games. I wouldn't go to those because I was just so nervous, and it was like just the atmosphere of being. I don't know. I feel like my mentality wasn't there. My mentality wasn't there. I wanted the easy way out. I always wanted the easy way out, and I felt like that was something that really killed me when I was younger, is that I wanted the easy way out. In middle school, we had the city championship 7th grade, and I pretended to be sick, so I didn't have to play because I wasn't that good, and I felt like they were better without me. That's the truth. That's the honest truth. Going out there right now, I feel like they would have won. They did win, and I mean we won. They won the city championship, but I wasn't there because I felt like they were better without me. Honest truth. So I felt like when I was younger, a lot of times if there was a big moment pressured situation, I would hide. I would run away from it at all cost. And I think that also led to me being scared of giving speeches, all that. So it was a big thing for me to climb. And then I climbed it. I really don't know how, but I climbed it. I found a way. I believed, I had faith, and it happened. So senior year of high school is like a whole different world of me being able to talk to people, me being able to communicate. I had confidence that I never had before, and I had it at a level that I could never imagine. And I feel like it's real interesting when you see both worlds. So I became very grateful for everything, for a lot of moments in time. I'm sorry, I really went off. We were talking about finals, and I got to this. But yeah, sorry, going back to finals. A lot of people are really stressed. A lot of people are really stressed, but it's because they're working hard. But a teacher used to tell us, my math teacher back in the day used to tell us, being extremely stressed about something is just as bad as not caring at all. Because when you're extremely stressed about something, that stress is going to burn you down. Not caring at all, yeah, you're not going to care, you're not going to be stressed. But when you go into the moment, you're not going to be ready for it. So she would always tell us, you got to find that middle point. You got to find that middle point where you're working hard, but you know how to control the stress, and you know how to give yourself time to reflect and relax. Because at the end of the day, my wrestling coach used to always say, it's a 5-star match because you're in it. I don't think that quote went with this, but that was my quote of the moment. Anyways, good luck on your finals. I believe in all of y'all. Let's get to it, baby. And also, I'm going to the Spurs game Wednesday, which will be yesterday. So yeah, it's going to be cool to see the playoffs. Have some fun. Hope y'all are having fun too. Remember, work hard on your finals. Pass that baby. Let's get ready for the summer. And no summertime sadness. We're going to be up this summer for real. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all next time. Hit the music.
Burning memories till there's nothing but ash. I'm starting fresh.